All right, well, we'll get started for sake of time. This is actually our first long coffee, and I do appreciate everyone taking the time to join. This is a format that we're going to try and repeat, maybe bi-weekly or semi-weekly, in its in as we move forward through this. And if you have any topics specifically you'd like to know more about, please send me an email, give me a suggestion, and I would be happy to to add that to the list or get that on the docket. So again, thanks for attending. I just want to let everybody know that we're going to be recording this section, just so that you're aware, and then we'll have this for posterity if you want to have it to show to clients or others within your organization. So we do appreciate you coming around and joining us on this. Um, my name is Jeff Grant. Of course, you all know me with Long Building Environments. I've only been here nearly 20 years, and with York and as an engineer prior to that. But with Long, we represent a myriad of different products from soup to nuts, basically in HVAC. Blue Duct being one that we specialize in, and we've had a lot of success with. Just a great product. And that's what we'll be talking about today for sure. Kendall is with us. He's going to be doing a lot of the code review that we've promised in the conversation today. He is with Blue Duct. He has 25, 30 years in the industry with other illustrative names like Dry Steam, and he's been with Blue Duct for some time at this point. So he'll be doing a lot of the code review, and I'll be managing that. But just to let you guys know, the format that we're going to be using today, because we're going to, again, have about 15 minutes for this, and then we'll let you guys get back to your design work. If you have a question, please just type it into the chat. You can chat to me directly. And at the end of the session, we'll try and get to that. We'll leave a little bit of time, and we'll be happy to cover that as we get through there. But anyways, I'm going to share my screen right now. I may drop in and out because I think I have to do that in order to allow people to admit them in from the lobby. And thanks for putting up with us. I know we all are in this new world where we have to understand and use this technology, and I may not be as proficient as some, but we'll do the best that we've got. So let me share my screen here. So just as a primer for what Kendall is going to be talking about today is about code approval for underground ductwork, Blue Duct in particular that we're going to be talking about. A lot of people think of UL, which stands for Underwriters Laboratory. They have a long history. They've been around since about the 1850s, but they are one of many testing agencies. And if you take nothing away from this program, I'd like you to at least remember that is that they are just one of many testing agencies. There are certainly a lot of other ones out there that we use all the time. AGA is one that you see in gas-fired equipment. ETL is another type of certification and listing. So these are testing agencies. They don't write code. They write certain standards and certain tests, but then it's up to international code in order to accept those. It's a lot like ASHRAE and ASHRAE's function. They're able to write standards that they think is the best practice or care, but that's not really a law until it gets into some type of code. So just understand that. But we're going to be referring to some other agencies that are out there as well. Now, UL is probably the best known, but again, they're not the only one. And there are some gaps in what the UL testing procedures actually allow or cover. And unfortunately, underground ductwork is one of them. So just know that we go to these other standards and these other agencies in order to make sure we have a level playing field between all the competition, that everyone is rating to the same standards. And if it's not UL, that's not necessarily a bad thing. These other testing agencies certainly cover those other areas. So let me show participants here real quick, and I want to make sure everyone has come in because we've admitted a few more through the lobby. Again, thanks for all for attending. And Kendall, well, one last thing as I share my screen here. There are a lot of resources that is on Blue Duct's website. So I'd invite you to take a look there. You can see it here on the screen now. They have a few different products, PAL Duct being the interior above ground, and Q duct as well being an exterior. But the blue duct is what we're talking about today, which is underground. Again, it's a kind of different animals as we go to those different areas. But underneath that, you can go to Blue Duct code approvals, and you can get all the information that you'd like that we're going to be giving you today and going through. This is actually what that looks like, and we'll be referring to these ICC, IAPCO, I think, NSF, whatnot, as we go through this. So I will once again, give me just a second as I show participants. I'm going to mute everybody. And again, if you have a question or concern, please just raise your hand or type in, send me a message, and then we'll go from there. Kendall, you are on mute, so unmute yourself, and you are ready to go.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Excellent. Okay, well, Jeff, thanks again for allowing us to talk with the engineering community. And I'm glad you brought up that we have a number of other products, because ironically, one of the products, the exterior, is we have to meet UL 181. So we are in fact familiar with that, that standard. Jeff, is it possible, can you go back to the website product approval? If not, I don't want to throw you a curveball here.
Nope, it's all good.
Okay. Excellent. The reason why I just want to revisit this is for any of you that you have team members that might also be interested in this that are not participating today. This is an excellent summary, this landing page to show. Pretty much encapsulates what we're going to talk about for the next 5-10 minutes. And Jeff, if you can scroll down a little bit, I just want to share this. The ICC within, and you're going to be exposed to all this in just a moment on the next document, is this shows the various testing. And it's interesting, if you can see on the screen, we actually have to test to UL, but it's UL 723, which is also a surface burning test. So you can take comfort in that we meet that, and we could spend an hour talking about what is the difference between UL 723 and 181, and that brings in ASTM E84, the 2550 smoke and flame. A lot of detail there. But for any of your coworkers that also run into this, that's a nice digestible summary there. And then Jeff, if you could scroll down a little bit more, the question might come, why would you test to both IAPMO and ICC? And part of the answer is, any of you that maintain a license in California, you can appreciate, you see that second mark, is that IAPMO satisfies the California Mechanical Code. So that's kind of like we almost have UL and ETL, if you would, on this product to meet that. So anyhow, there's a lot of your information there. And again, anything we don't address today, let Jeff know and we can potentially get you more information. All right, so Jeff, if we can go to the LC 1014 document.
Gotcha.
Which would, all right. This is where we live. This is what we have to address within plastic ducts. And if you can see on, I think, page 2, the top, it even mentions that this is for underground plastic ducts. So if you manufacture an underground plastic duct, you have to meet this code and these requirements. And everything that I just showed on that web page in a summary is spelled out in more detail within this document. But the important thing is that you see there is a code specific to underground plastic ducts. Now, plastic, just to confirm, we're high density polyethylene. And in fact, you may have specified that product in some other underground conduits or conveyance or wiring systems. We're a little different. We've put some stiffeners in there, so we're different than maybe some HDPE you have seen. But this is the document you have to satisfy to provide that. Jeff, if you could go to document number 3. This is, and the gentleman that's addressed in this document is our consultant, because every manufacturer has to have a consultant to navigate through all the codes in compliance. And we had, a number of years ago, we wanted to satisfy an engineer's concern about meeting UL. Now, they don't mention UL 181 specifically in this document, but the one they're noting, the test is in fact 181. And we have this on file because you can see that UL even said the test is not germane to underground ductwork. And in fact, you can see the second to the bottom paragraph, they even reference the LC 1014 test that we just saw. So UL, also understands that no, if we're talking about plastic duct, we need you need to make sure that provider is meeting that document, which we do. And just take a time to address why there might be some confusion in the marketplace at this time or within the engineering community about meeting UL 181. And that is because another manufacturer of underground duct systems, generically known as FRP, fiberglass reinforced plastic, they, unlike blue duct, they also can be applied inside the building envelope or in an occupied space. And because of that, then they obviously have to meet UL 181. So for any of you that have worked with that product, you will see that they meet that requirement. And understandably, the engineer then may assume, oh, I should have that UL 181 for my underground ductwork, when in fact you don't need it. So that is potentially the origin for the confusion in the marketplace. Next document, please. Now, this is the ICC. So these are one of the two. So this is the first report we showed you on our website that goes into all the detail of the ASTM 2412 crush test and the UL 723. And I wanted to share this with you. Jeff, if you can navigate through and go to, I believe it's page 4. For any of you multidiscipline firms, there you go. This is actually an important piece of information off this that your structural or civil disciplines may need. And Jeff and Long will often forward this page out of the document because this shows the deflection rates, that top chart. And so we'll send this over. So if your structural team needs to calculate, well, how much, do I have to put a slab over it? How thick does the floor have to be if there's going to be people driving over it? You're going to need this document to calculate the load bearing capacity. So this is a good document to know. But if there's any question, we're always happy to send this over to you also. So that can be an important part of information. And then the last document, again, as we mentioned, is the PMG, and that document just also pulls in that California. Now, within these two documents, I also wanted to note is they reference two different thermal performance requirements. And what is ASTM, but another one is NSF. And this is interesting from the standpoint, and it's nice for the engineer, is that as you see that NSF protocol, 374 there, this is actually a much more realistic test for you to understand how the thermal performance of the duct is that unlike the ASTM test, which is a static state, and this is how they test your insulation. This is how you get your R value, is they basically put the insulation in a test chamber and the air is not moving. So you don't have any conduction or any convection. And you put that and then they measure and you get your R value or your K value based on how long it takes for the delta T to occur. Well, that's not relative to ductwork. And what's nice about the NSF test is they move air through at 1,000 feet per minute, and then they measure the delta T through 100 feet of ductwork, which is far more relevant to your designs because now you're dealing with those other contributing convection and conduction impact on your delta T. So that's nice to have that within that test. So you can be confident that there's no other factors impacting your cooling or heating load with those. So that is a thumbnail sketch of the documents that are out there, and to put you at ease that we meet all code, not only in North America, but beyond. We're in the Middle East for a number of projects over there. We can provide more information if you need it, but hopefully that puts at rest any concerns about the UL test and any applicable standards.
And thanks for that, Ken.
Yep, that's a summary. And if there's anything that you want me to touch on more, please do. If there's other issues or if any questions have come in.
Yeah, our time is certainly drawn to a close, but the only question we see so far is from Spencer Howell. It's is AK Duct synonymous with Blue Duct?
Yes, thank you very much. And I meant to address that. That comes up. And that was the name of the duct prior to us branding it as Blue Duct. And that's in all the testing. And as you can appreciate, so that is the high density polyethylene. If we try to change those tests to Blue Duct, then we have to go back through all the agency testing. But that, in fact, is Blue Duct. And thanks for that question, because I meant to touch upon that.
Well done, Spencer. Well, thanks again, Kendall, and thanks for all who attended today. Again, I'm available should you have other questions and concerns. We appreciate your business and being part of this today, and I'm happy to answer questions directly when you do have them. So we'll hang on the line in case anybody else has any other questions for a short term. You can just hear me and Kendall talk about his canoe trip earlier this week, or you can sign off at this point and hopefully join us for the next round of long coffee breaks. And again, appreciate everything, guys. Thank you so much.